Hey fangirls and boys, welcome to my channel. You're watching Whole Lotta Love. Today we are doing a video on the new Fem Rosa collection. This is a collaboration with Colourpop and Karrueche Tran. They came out with eyeshadow palette, which is absolutely gorgeous. A face palette, highlight, blush, bronzer, very pretty as well, and 4 lippies, 2 glossy lips, and then 2 ultra satins. Everything is very wearable and very girly in this collection. Yeah, I just thought I'd look up a little more information on Karrueche and as well as the collection itself. I believe all I really know about Karrueche is that she dated Chris Brown. I'm not really sure, and I think she guest hosted an episode of Catfish, and I love Catfish, so I know I saw her on that. American actress and model. She initially got exposure as the girlfriend to R&B singer Chris Brown before extending her resume to include modeling and acting. From 2013 to 2016, she starred as Vivian Johnson in the web series The Bay. She's done, I believe this is her 3rd collaboration with Colourpop, and I've really loved her collections. She kind of goes for a neutral, girly with a twist. So it's, she kind of does some pretty unique colors. She kind of sneaks them in to schemes that are very neutral and wearable. In these collections. I did have the original collection with some of the lippies and, Super Shock products that she had done. I believe it was called the K-pop collection. That was pretty nice. This collection overall is really beautiful. I do really like the look I got today. It's very girly. You can build up some of the colors. You make it a little more intense, but the eyeshadow palette overall, you're not getting a crazy smoky, edgy look out of this. But there's a lot of options in there. For different looks, so that's really nice. You could do completely different looks with this palette, and I'm just gonna run down the price on some of these products as well. Currently these collections are out of stock. The lippies are still available. The Lippy Bundle, which has Contessa, which I have in the center of my lip. It's an Ultra Glossy Misses, which is the color underneath, Ultra Satin, and Darling, which is a deeper Ultra Satin, so that's still available on the website. The bundles, $40 for the 2 palettes, face and eye, and the 4 lippies. It's a $40 bundle. It's out of stock. And the PR collection, which I don't really understand why you would want a PR collection to spend more money if you're not actually getting PR. It's a little gimmicky to me, come on. And I just want the products. I have so much makeup, I'm just an enthusiast. I'm just going to get the collection so I don't have this extra packaging. But the PR collection, unfortunately also out of stock, is $46, so it's $6 more if you want to get that fancier packaging. I don't think they're gone just yet. The collection came out, I would say, 2 weeks ago. So I think they're gonna come back with it. So I'm sorry that I got this video up at a weird time where it's kind of out of stock, and it's probably gonna be out of stock for a little while, but I do think it's going to come back. And I believe that the palettes would probably range from $16 to $18. That's an amazing price. You get, each shadow is 0.03 ounces, which is, I guess some of the Loreal Mega Pro palettes, they have 0.03 ounces in each, but there's a lot more shadows. It's, it's not a ton of eyeshadow, but it's not bad. It's not less than a normal, small eyeshadow palette, and it's less than 20 bucks and you're getting 12 colors. It's really a nice price point for what you're getting. Not a ton of product, but a really nice price point. And these are... They have 0.11 ounces each pan here, which I'm not as familiar with cheek product sizing, but they seem to be pretty decently generous. It's not overly, it's not gonna, you're gonna be able to use this for a good long time, especially if you're an enthusiast and you use a ton of other makeup. These things will last forever. But again, amazing price, and the lippies are usually $6 each. Very good price point. I can't imagine those are really too much smaller than any other lippy that you would get anywhere else. That could range from 10 to 30 bucks from other brands. So very good price point. Packaging is beautiful. She did some rose gold over here on the outer packaging on the lippies. The soft touch was a killer touch. They really knocked it out of the park, Colourpop, especially considering some of their pressed powder palettes that they've started off with more recent. You know, this is very sleek, absolutely beautiful. They're actually, you know, giving some higher end brands a run for their money with this packaging. So they really knocked it out of the park, especially for the price point. Okay, so I thought I would get started with the demo portion of this video. I have my foundation on, a little bit of brow gel, and concealer, and I just want to get started with my eyes, and I'll do the face products as well. So I'm going to start with She palette. So this is an eye palette. So you have 12 colors in this, and it's really beautiful. And so this is what it looks like inside. So yeah, this is really bomb. It's a bunch of like, I guess you get some reddish kind of plummy tones in here. It's a little bit neutral. Just very girly, very pretty colors. A lot of nice shimmeries, few mattes on the bottom row, mostly shimmers. I do have names which are on the back of the box. So I'm going to get started with a base color on my eyes. I'm going to start here with the Ladylike, the metallic. For my base color, it says metallic. I haven't even swatched these or anything until just now. I've just looked at it. I guess it's pretty shimmery. It's not crazy though. So I think I'm just going to put this all over my lid and my brow bone and get started, and I will zoom you guys in a little bit. More of like a heavy shimmer than a true like metallic shadow. It's pretty nice. That is the first shade laid down, Ladylike. And for the upper crease, let's see, I'm going to start with this Duchess color right here. It's basically the last color in the palette. It's kind of like a peachy mid-tone matte shade. So I'm just putting this like kind of above my crease. This seems pretty pigmented, has a pretty decent color payoff, pretty good color payoff. No complaints. On my natural crease, I'm going to put the next shade, which is a little bit darker. It's this shade Dear here. It's the first shade in the bottom row. It's similar to Duchess. It's a little more pink toned, maybe a touch darker. So I'm just going to put that just in my natural crease. That's a pretty shade that could be used as a blush in a pinch if you just have this palette. Yeah, this palette's pretty sweet because you could use that as a blush if you needed to. Some of these could be used as highlighters for your cheeks or for the rest of the face. So you have some versatility here. It could be used for eyes and face. And I think I will do the second shade in the bottom row. This is called Missy. I'm going to put this on my outer V. Now for the most exciting part, especially when trying a new palette, especially one with so many gorgeous shimmers in it, I'm going to do my lid color. I think I want to go with this color. It seems to be the most foiled in the palette, and it's like a true copper. It's called Gal. It's the second shade here on the second row, Gal. So I'm excited to try this. So this color isn't super intense foiled on the lid. It's pretty sparkly. I guess it's a little bit sheer, a little bit more sheer than I was hoping for. Definitely giving me just a little bit of fallout. Not bad overall on the fallout, just that one Gal shade on the lid because it's so chunky and sparkly. Kind of gave me a little fallout, but it wasn't one of those situations where it's so much fallout and you're getting like this sheer, like this pure pigment along your nose or something crazy. It was just like a few little specks that I was able to brush away pretty easily. So overall, the fallout situation is pretty good on these shadows. The pigmentation on the mattes and on this shimmer here, I haven't tried every single shimmer, but on this one, They all seem pretty similar on the top row. They seem to be pretty nicely pigmented shimmer metallics. It's just this glittery. I think it's because they're going for that sheer glittery. It's probably more purposeful, purposely sheer, but it's pretty nice. Overall, I'm enjoying this palette and I'm enjoying this look. It's like a fun, flirty, not too intense look. So I put on some wing liner and a little bit of Perversion mascara by Urban Decay. I do want to apologize. The wings just weren't working out. I don't really have much of a chance to stop and refilm this and correct the situation. So this is real life. This is what you get. So this is mascara and a wing with the eyeshadow palette. That's the look. I actually do want to kind of finish off my lower lash line with this darker color, which is called Damsel. Damsel is really nice. Like, it's very pigmented. It's not giving me crazy fallout right off. It's just applying very smoothly. I'm gonna finish the lower lash line with this Lash Paradise mascara by Loreal. It's in the, I think it's brownish black is the color. But I'm going to finish the rest of my face from the Karrueche X Colourpop collection. Let's see. So the next product I'm going to try is the Fem Rosa face palette. It has the same packaging as the She Eyeshadow Palette, it looks like. So there's highlight, blush, bronzer. This bronzer looks a little dark for me. I'm a little nervous to use that, but I'm just gonna do it. You know, I have the terrible wing, so I'm not worried about it, to be honest. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. It's kind of grabbing onto my foundation. The shade is warmer than I expected. I honestly thought it was going to be pretty cool toned, which was my concern, but I'm actually having the opposite concern now that it's on my face. It's very warm toned, very pigmented, which isn't a bad thing, but it's grabbing a little bit funny on this foundation that I already have on my face, and it's a lot. So you definitely want to go with like a lighter touch because this cheek looks pretty decent. This one is like crazy bronze, orange bronze situation. I usually like to bronze up my chin a little, just kind of make it look like sun naturally hit my face. So that's the bronzer. I think it's decent. Just kind of, sometimes, you know, you put too much, or just at first I think it was kind of a little more trial and error on my behalf. I'm gonna go for the blush, which is called Mistress. It's actually pretty. Sometimes I have bad luck with darker blushes, so we'll see. Try to be pretty sheer on this one. Just gonna go to the apples, really. Just pop it, do a little pop on the cheek. Very pigmented. These powders are extremely pigmented. I'm kind of already having a clown face moment here. And I really didn't go in with a lot. I just tapped my brush into that. I didn't really like tap it off too much, but I just like went in like once and then went on the face, and then I went in once on the other side and put it on the face, and it's completely, way too much. So very careful with the pigment on these. They don't really diffuse as well as I would like cheek products to. I got this NARS diffusing bronzer, the new one that they have, and it's the perfect effect for a cheek product. You're getting pigment, but it's like this diffused look. You know, it doesn't really pick up so heavy so quickly. For me, these powders just picked up way too heavy too quickly. It's just very hard to blend this out at this point. I'm kind of just mixing everything together, trying to get that to work, but it might also be that these tones are a little too dark for my skin tone. It's probably not helping the situation. So that's the blush and the bronzer. The highlight I'm a little less worried about. This highlighter is called Lassie. It's pretty like a gold toned kind of thing. It looks really pretty. Probably a little deep for me as a highlight, but let's go for it. There's a lot of powder. See, that brush is well coated. And I'm just gonna go for the tops of the cheekbones and above the eyebrows, usually where I like to highlight. Wow, it is really pretty. Like the powder itself, it's just giving like this wet metallic sheen to the cheek. Again, it's up close, it just definitely doesn't seem like the right tone for me, but it's, you know, it's definitely a very nice formula, very smooth formula. It's just it's very blinding, it's not chunky. Definitely it just kind of is sitting on top, but in a nice way, not like in a cakey way. It's not like peeling off the rest of the liquid products underneath. It just looks really pretty, actually. I think it's the favorite of what's in this palette, especially if I get a, you know, a good tan going. I am a little more tan than I normally am, but if I'm going for a really kind of bronzy look, I could definitely rock this highlight. That is beautiful. I've played around a little bit with some of the other Colourpop highlights, pressed powder highlights, not too much. But that is pretty incredible. That's making me, I think they're coming out with the concealer collection. They're also coming out with the, with like single pressed powders, Colourpop, pressed powder highlights. Probably gonna be really good. If this is any indication, if they're actually doing it in like a single packaging, they'll give it, I think they're gonna give it a good amount of thought and hopefully have some shades for lighter skin tones that I'd really like. So those are the products. Again, I probably could have done better with, you know, putting them on sheerly, blending them out a little more. I just think it's a little bit off for my skin tone. I could definitely pull it off. It's not completely, you know, you can kind of pull off most, you know, products if you, you know, go with light hand, just rock it. But I think, you know, if your skin tone's a little bit darker than mine, this will probably be really ideal for you. For me, it's just a light hand kind of situation, proper blending, and the blush and bronzer don't blend as well as I would like them to. I mean, it's not a bad situation. They're not super patchy or super hard to blend. You can get it there, but it's just, you know, a little bit off. But again, that's probably a bit of user error. I don't think it's really that the product isn't great. I think the product is actually pretty amazing for the price and everything, so that's really good. And for the last part, I'm going to go for the lippies. Again, really cute packaging, the way that they do this here. It's kind of like a trio. There's one called Contessa, Ultra Glossy Misses, Ultra Satin, and Darling Ultra Satin. So there's no Ultra Mattes in this collection, which is fine with me. I don't play around with the Ultra Satins in a while. I think I'm going to swatch all of these. I'm only going to put 2 on my lips, so I'm just going to swatch them all out on my arm. So these are the colors swatched on my arm right here, the lippies. This is Mrs., Darling, Contessa, and the last one was kind of like free with buying the whole bundle, and Polished. This last one's called Polished. The last 2 are Ultra Glossies, the first 2 are Ultra Satins. These Ultra Glossies are like really beautifully pigmented, especially Polished. Kind of rock that with just a lip liner or even by itself and have full pigment. This one is, you know, pretty pigmented too, but a nice topper. I think I'm gonna go with Mrs. and then just a little bit of Contessa in the middle of the lip. So that is Mrs. on the lips by itself. Really pretty, smooth, pigmented. Yeah, it's working well, and you definitely have that, you know, creamy matte where it might dry down a little, but it's still going to transfer. It's a nice formula. Just again, it's kind of like a real lipstick where you need to use a lip liner if you don't want to have too much transfer. It's not as bad as like a super sheer creamy lipstick where it's going to go all over the place without a lip liner. It's going to hold a little bit better than that, but it's still kind of more like a traditional lipstick than a liquid lipstick dry down per se. And then I'm going to go in with Contessa just in the center, just to kind of try to use 2 lip products here. That is gorgeous. It does have pigment to it, but underneath this color, It just kind of like shears out. I do really like this collection. I can't wait to play with the eyes a little more. The cheek palette, definitely gonna use that highlight. The other products I'm not super loving, but they're, you know, for the price, they're pretty good. And so yeah, that's all my thoughts on this collection. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the new pink background. It's like pink, champagne, fizz, rosé kind of style thing. I want to steam it out. I know there's some like folded lines here. I do want to run a steamer across it, but I'm just, you know, it's kind of progress. And that is what it is, but I'm really happy to have a backdrop. I feel very professional, and it's only gonna get better. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Yeah, and have a good one. Bye guys.